Lord, my computer. I told you guys that Canelo was going to drop them belts. I didn't want to be right, but it appears that that's what he wanted to do. Let's turn to. Well. Look what we have here. Canelo doing the most, as usual. I don't like it. It ain't the way boxing did you. I don't know what he thinking. But that's how he get down. I don't know if y'all can hear the music. But if you can't, let me know. Smash the like button when you come in the building. We in for a hurting with this boxing stuff. You don't have to hurt no more. So, come in the building, smash the like button as you come in. What's up to my Facebookers? This is the somber mood I'm in. I'm going to cut it off. I knew it. I knew Canelo was going to do what he did. I knew it. I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. You know, he's not a honorable person. I knew he was going to drop them belts and look for another easy target. He's still relatively young. I don't know if his end game is to, quit boxing altogether. I really don't know. But, the sky's the limit for him. He can do whatever he wants. We can make the rules up as we go. I mean, you literally got to build the champion. That's how Mauricio Suleiman and some of the Mexican fighters who are complicit with it, they really have to just build a champion. And that's what they're doing. It's not organic. It's not from the mud. They building him. It's not like he could never be that, but we would never know because he don't really think he could, be that great champion. When we think of the greats, we don't want to put an asterisk beside their name. We don't think of them as, scrupulous, scandalous or something. We don't think of that. When we think of Joe Louis, we be like, wow. We think of the limitations that he did have, but we don't think all the extra maneuvering he did to get to where he was. Henley in the building was popping king. He said, good evening, Miss T, and the chat. We don't think about that. When we think about Sugar Ray Robinson, we was like, wow, this man is awesome. He did all that, and party like he did, and had investments and owned things, and he was a combination of a lot of things. We don't think of extra maneuvering that he did to get to where he was. We think his maneuvering was in that ring, doing it out the mud for himself. We don't think of, and in fact, we know that black fighters back in those days, they had everything against them. It's like I'm sure the judges or the refs were like, just give me a reason to knock you down a peg or two. You had to be on your P's and Q's. You had to win fair and square because shit wasn't fair for you back then. You would think that we'd be used to it, but we in a whole nother century. And say 19 nothing. Whole nother century, and this crap is still going on. Out of everybody he could fight, he goes and he picks what he think is the weakest link. Now, I don't know much about this Makabu, or however you pronounce his name. I really don't even know how he became champion. In some breaths, people be like, oh, well, he's a champion. If Canelo is just trying to make history, he has a right to do it. It's the way he's going about doing it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this Mukabu dude could be so many things. It could be that he really are not, they gave him the championship just so Canelo could come take it. And what y'all gonna say? When you bring up Joe Louis, when you bring up Aaron Pryor, when you bring up Sonny Liston, even Ali, or Sugar Ray Robinson, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather. When you bring these guys up, Mike Tyson, you know what they're gonna say? You know how they're gonna want to write the history? None of them could stand a chance with Canelo. He was the best. He was the top over all of them. They saved the best for last. And I'm like, is it that important to Mauricio Suleiman? He is the worst president of a sanctioning body. And Congress need to yank his shit. They do. I will say we should pick a date in the near future, probably during the Christmas holidays, before they go on their break, and call our congressman, every last one of us, and tell him the atrocities that he's doing over there. He's using America's business laws and commerce. He's going against the rules and laws of nonprofits, all just to build a champion. That champion, I'm gonna start calling Canelo the champion that never was. That's what he is. The champion that never was. I wrote some notes there. He's decided to drop his belts and move to the cruiserweight division. Now, for 168, you got 175. You got a couple of stops on the way. If you could go to cruiserweight now, you probably could have been fighting in the beginning, 175, whatever. I mean, Triple G kind of said that about you before we even knew the hoopla about Canelo. He said that back in the day. Canelo has always been a big boy. So why would you ever fighting in 147? You thought you was gonna dethrone the king, which is Floyd Mayweather. Sometimes you will hear Canelo be like, running back, I'll destroy him now. No, Canelo, take your loss like a man. You can prop yourself up over everybody. You can cheat your way through history, but you never did beat Floyd. And we will always say that. He wants to challenge a man named Lunga Makabu, who is a champion. We've never heard of him. Don't know how he became a champion. Don't know who he beat to become champion. We all know that Usyk was the undisputed champion in the cruiserweight before he moved up to heavyweight. We know that. So when Usyk left, he had to drop his belts. Cool. So I guess they were a free fall for everybody. But we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know how did he. I never even heard of this guy. I don't even know how to tell anybody. Hey, go look him up on YouTube. He fought this guy at this place. I mean, I guess he fought Bellevue or whatever. Really don't have much. It's almost like he's a plant, not Caleb Plant. Not a pun on words, but like he's a plant. Like he was put there to get that belt so the Canelo could come take it, so the Canelo can be the superhero. It's starting to make me question all Mexican history, all the great things that they put up and say this is their history. I mean, they are so complicit. And I'm sorry, you should be outraged because it's a mockery. It's a mockery. And this man will ride off into the sunset. Never mind that he stole all the money. Like he got money for the free. I mean, I don't care that he got rich off of his endeavors. But I mean, to act like you're the best, you do not fight the best. You have no interest in fighting the best. In fact, you know that you're not the best because you avoid the best. At this point, you can't say, I just don't want to lose. Your ego and pride is killing you because you have a loss. You have several losses, in fact, but they cake for you. But you have a loss against Floyd Mayweather, but yet you went on to be bigger and better. Of course, you know, they had plans for you because you had the biggest thing you got is the complexion for the protection. Now, you might not be a white man, and in the public eye, you do, you know, you act like a proud Mexican, but you might really, in low key, be embracing this thing that, you know, like you are a white man. Because why would people keep treating you like you're a white dude or keep coming at you like that's the privilege you got and you don't ever say nothing? Now, he recently donated $1 million. I heard it on Blue Blood to some charity for cancer for kids. You know, you throw in a nugget. That's the bright and shiny object that he want to throw on the other side so we can stop looking at his fugazi ass moves. And I hate to be talking about Canelo every day, but I mean, you have no choice. Like sometimes you just, some of the shit is just crazy. When I saw or heard that he was dropping the belts, I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Is he obligated? I'm gonna keep it 100. He's not obligated to defend none of his belts. Terrence Crawford didn't. A lot of people get their belts and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? But you are cherry picking, my brother. You are cherry picking. And you're not a real champion to me. DJ in the building was Poppy King. He's been taking the path of least resistance since he fought Triple G. Yes. Some people think that Triple G beat him the first time. I really know that Laura beat him the first time. And then of course, we know what Floyd did, and we know what that ref tried to do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Canelo is doing for these people. Maybe they feel like he's a moneymaker. So they gotta build him up because he's money in the bank. Canelo is bankable, he's reliable, he will sell. And the whole idea is to make all this money. But it's like for real, when I see that nobody questions it, we are the only ones that's really questioning it. There's white people I've seen question it, blacks, others, Mexicans, not so much. Triple G definitely beat him in that first fight. I agree, DJ. But not so much. Not so much Mexicans question it, anything. And they happy with it. See, a person like me, when I see that, I question all your history. Y'all sit back and Mauricio Suleiman, blatant. Canelo is blatant. They sit back and they lie just to create a narrative. And none of y'all got nothing to say. None of your reporters got anything to say. I think Juan Manuel Marquez, I think he come out and said something. Even Mike Tyson said something. And if Juan Manuel Marquez is saying something, shout outs to him. He's a Mexican, and that's a real man right there. He has honor, courage, and commitment. Because he know that Mexicans can be great. He know that if you put hard work, you can achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But this is going to be y'all representation. I feel like he giving the whole country of Mexico a black eye. I really do. I mean, they known for a lot of negativity, and you're just piling on to it. The immigration thing, the border thing, a lot of negativity. The drug stuff, a lot of negativity in the country. And now you got a known cheater. He doesn't care if he cheat. But you got Mauricio Suleiman, at the helm of everything. I really believe sometimes it's not something that I will always go to, but at this point, I'm starting to believe that you got to go head on and say fuck it to the WBC belt. I'm at that point because as long as there's a hope or light at the end of the tunnel, I may not say that, but it's just a belt. They were fine. Boxing was fine before it. It'll be fine after it, and they're blatant with their dishonesty and corruption. So at this point, you got to say fuck their belt. And every night I pray, that's what's gonna be added in my prayers, that the guys have the strength to say fuck the WBC belt, to say forget it. You can keep it, Mauricio. You and Canelo, and that's it. Y'all can have it. Stop fighting for that belt. Oh yeah, water check. This is the 10th bottle. Ooh, it was a hard day today. But stop fighting for that belt. Don't even try to get with it. Just, let it go by the wayside. You got a lot of promotional companies trying to break into boxing. I say, why don't they spend their money in developing a sanctioning body belt? I don't know. Or raise the IBO belt to a higher level, equal to the 4 sanctioning bodies. People need to just stop going for the belt. It ain't worth it. It has no honor with it. It doesn't mean nothing. That belt can be sold to the highest bidder. If you the right race, you good. To the black fighters, you'll never get the belt fair and square. There will be a token of you here and there, But the ones who would get it would be somebody. It's kind of like a setup, like what's going on now. I really do believe that Makbu was put in place so that Canelo can challenge him. First, Canelo wanted Bivol, and he tried to act like he mentioned better BF. But we can just look at that and be like, you don't want better BF. You truly don't want that. You don't want David Benavidez. You can't possibly want better BF. But everybody was hopeful. So now they saying it's all to the good. Everything Canelo does and want Mauricio Suleiman, backs up. It's almost like Canelo and him have a partnership. Somebody paying somebody in that relationship, because that's what it looked like. Your belt is fugazi at this point. It don't mean nothing. Has no value. And Makbub, he don't have a clue unless he do. Maybe like I said, I hate to say this about anybody. Sometimes it makes you think, was he put in place on purpose? Was it all by design way before the fight with Plant even took place? Did they have him in position? Has he already been, palms been greased up? You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. And even if it wasn't, guess what? It's a payday. It's a payday. That guy Makbu gonna become a millionaire overnight. Is it easy to sway him? We don't know where he come from. I'm assuming he's come from Africa, a country over there. Maybe he from the States, but I'm assuming Africa. And maybe he wants to uplift his family, and maybe they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. Even if it's all legit on his part, he gonna become a millionaire overnight. You know what I'm saying? Who could turn down that? But they know what they're doing. I'm done with the WBC belt. I mean, I hate to be like that because, Wilder, he wants Sophia back, and you got all these other fighters who worked hard all their life to get to where they are, and just to have this become a farcical is just ridiculous. There is no honor or code anywhere to be found with the WBC. They are despicable. And the Congress should yank their license to have a nonprofit. They make this shit up as they go. It is not a nonprofit, it's a for-profit, but they getting tax breaks as if it's a nonprofit. Do we all need to collectively start calling our congressman? I bet you if we all pick a date in the near future, like I said, right before they go on break, because they will go on break in December sometime, and we just call all of us, take 5 minutes out your day. They're not going to let you talk to your congressman, probably. You'll have a buffer. You'll talk to somebody, and they'll be like, okay, can we take a message? And you tell them that laws are being broken here. Demetrius Bright in the building was popping, King. He said he up to 60 ounces. I hear you, King. I'm at the 80. This is my 10th one. So when I'm done with it, I'm at 80. It's a hard day for the water. Water is undefeated. Boy, it'll be some easy days and some hard days. You think once you reach your goal, it'll be smooth sailing? Nah, it's day by day. I don't want to drink no more water today. I gotta be honest, but I'm gonna try to chug down what I can. But What y'all think? Should we call our congressman just 5 minutes out of our day and just alert them to some crimes? Hey, you got a nonprofit operating as a profit. He's lying, making up the rules, and he's ruining people's career. He's ruining and wasting people's money. He's cheating people out. There's all kinds of fraud, waste, and abuses going on. Could be racketeering, whatever. I mean, all kinds of charges. And his headquarters is in Mexico. So that's how he keeping himself out of range from the U.S. But he shouldn't be allowed to operate in the U.S. He's in a sport. People are betting their money to corruption. Known and blatant corruption. He say he's the president of a sanctioning body. He act like he's for fairness, but he's really a tool for Mexican fighters. And the one that's catching the most favor is Canelo and anybody else in Canelo's camp that trains with him. We need y'all to look into that. You will clearly see he's operating a for-profit business, but getting the breaks and tax breaks as a nonprofit. And he's been doing it for years. So United States government, here's a man that probably owe you millions. And he got it. We need y'all to go collect on that. Y'all think that's something we all can do? Can we pick a date? I don't know what date. I got to figure out the Congress schedule. But can we pick a date and just on one day, all of us take 5 minutes out of our day and call in and see what that do? Because one person calling in ain't gonna cut it. I did my time calling in, and I'll still call in. I don't care. But one person obviously is not gonna cut it because this man is blatant as hell. He don't give a damn. Broad daylight, a hold up, a heist, and nobody does anything. As I said, Mark Boo will become a millionaire whether it's legit or not. More than likely, this was all by design. Canelo at this point is just checking the box. He's just checking the box. He's like, you ever meet people like that just check the box? Well, did you do this? Yeah, I did that. I was president of this, and I joined this club, and you checked every box, but you really didn't put no time and effort into it. You just did it to check the box so you can have your fake credentials to get you to be able to go into another field or get accepted where you really want to go. We got a guy like that. I think he out of St. Louis. He's a senator for St. Louis. Oh, this dude is evil as fuck. But he does that, and nobody's the wiser. Y'all gonna pay for that. When that guy get to doing what he want to do, y'all can't say y'all wasn't warned. But that's what Canelo is doing. He's checking the box. He has no intentions of ever defending his titles. In a sense, he is Tyson Fury now. He is a subsidiary of Tyson Fury because we know the heavyweights are the ace boucoons or the creme de la creme of boxing. So Canelo is not a heavyweight. And if he ever was to fight in heavyweight division, you'd be like, why would you ever at them lower weights? How did you get there? I mean, you think about cruiserweights, you never really hear that they ever fought at 147 or 154. Because they big dudes. I mean, what's the point of going down that far? I mean, they're big guys. You never really hear about that. But Canelo, Triple G tried to warn us years ago. He's a big dude. And I remember when they was calling Errol Spence a weight bully. Here Canelo walking around like 200 pounds. Easy. easy. But we ain't had nothing to say. But it looked normal that he 147. How is he able to make it? How is he walking around at 200 pounds and cut a little, like 53 pounds or something? How was he able to do that shit? You think that damn grand? Because he's ballooning up in between fights back then. So he checking these boxes. He has no intention of defending his belts. He has no intention of fighting notable competitors. He only want easy targets. He want the statistical data to reflect he was the creme de la creme. That's all. I told y'all 100 years from now, when y'all read about Canelo, he's going to be the best. They love showing his skin because that's how a lot of Mexicans see themselves, right? They going to talk about the notable fighters that they can't get around, like the Sugar Ray Robinsons and the Muhammad Ali's. But with a twist, 100 years from now, those guys are going to be Mexican. That's what it's going to be in a history book. And let me tell you, the original people of revising history or consensus writing are Spanish people. They are the OGs of that type of tactic. They are. I know people don't like to hear it, but they are. Like I say, he the second version of Tyson Fury. This is an observation on my part. But why do white fighters go through the trouble of checking the box if they won't earn their way there? That was a question I had. Why do you go through the trouble of checking all these boxes if you're not going to earn your way there? And I did say white fighters. Now, on the outside, as I said, Canelo appears to be like he's all about being a Mexican. But it doesn't escape him that people look at him like he's the ultimate white dude. And it doesn't escape us to know that a lot of Mexicans think that they're white. I don't know how they jump in that barrel. Like, they're not even from Europe. Nowhere near the Caucasus Mountain. But that's how they see themselves. But why go through the trouble of checking the box if you have nothing notable? Their history is going to read like, Canelo 5 division champion. He fought this person and that person. He took the belt off from first time up. And even around that span of a year, he done went up and down in the weight classes. And he took the belt off of these folks and that folks. But they're not going to talk in depth about the people he took the belt from. I'll tell you a way to combat against that. Somebody write a biography on him. Like, really dive in deep about who he fighting and the moves he make. Somebody like do a biopic on every fighter that he fought since he been in the States. Do a biopic on him. Make sure that the shelves are filled with history information, historical information on these so-called fighters that he fought. So when people 100 years get to reading all his accolades and his attaboys, they also got to look at that box rack and be like, wait a minute, Makabu, let me go read him up. Man, he was a champion nobody heard of. We don't know how he won his belt. We don't know who he fought. He only had 2 professional fights and he became champion. And this the guy that Canelo chose when he could have chose this person, that person, and that person. Now, do I know if Makabu got 2 professional fights? I don't know. I was just throwing a number out there. But he might as well, because we don't even know this dude. First of all, how did he even get in the running to go for a belt? Like, how did he get in the ranking? They don't have no cruiserweights out there. They don't got no kind of ranking. Who is this guy? He never made it to TV that I know about. But Canelo picks him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta make that make sense over there in the Canelo camp. Marky Dan 123, salute to you too, King. How did this guy just drop out of thin air with a belt? And Canelo, out of the many choices that he could fight, he just go to this guy conveniently. We know this guy, he cannot be rich. He's not notable. Nobody knows him. So you wave a carrot in front of this guy's face, it's bound to be on the up and up. It's bound to be, corrupted. Market Dan 123 said he got knocked out in 2 rounds by Tony Bellew. Okay. So my question next is, how did he become champion? Who did he beat to become champion? Because once Usyk dropped all those belts, I'm sure Bellew and others, were trying to become undisputed or grab up the belts. Who did this? If he got knocked out, and we never ever heard of him, he wasn't that important that he made TV. I mean, I don't know much about Bellew, but I know of him and I heard of him. So he had to be somewhat notable. But I've never in my life heard of this guy, Makabu. He dropped out of thin air. He has a belt. I'm gonna look him up and do a thorough study on him and be like, well, Canelo, you got people at 168 you could fight. You can fight David Benavidez. You can fight Andrade. You can fight Charlo. I mean, these people they can move up, and they showed interest that they want to move up. But you bypass that. You bypass 175. And you go straight to cruiserweight. Now, I thought you wanted with Lean. I thought you wanted with Bivol and Better BL, which I thought was crazy. See, the way he move in these streets, he make people wish and pray for his downfall. He make people do it. I pray for his downfall. Why? Because he's cheating. He's highway robbery in broad daylight. They all are cheating. And you playing with people's lives. You have no respect. You have no honor. You don't have real courage. And you're not committed to nothing but cheating. Marky Dan 123 said he's Zamundan Prince. So he was in that secret world of Wakanda. Like one minute he here, he walked past the little invisible film we can't see, and he's in Wakanda. Zamundu. Yeah, that's crazy. And that man gonna take it. There's no way in hell he ain't gonna take it. I don't know how old dude is, but there's no way in hell he not gonna take it. We don't know, the machine behind Canelo must be very, very awesome and forceful. I mean, ain't no telling. They could be threatening people, like a dude like him that don't nobody know and nobody too much care for. They could be threatening him or his whole family. Who knows? Like, you better take a dive. I don't know. But, I can't put nothing past Canelo ever. And he lets this go on. So even if Canelo is not complicit and he's not doing it, but he's not stopping people from doing it, your history has a big asterisk beside it. But shout outs to Juan Manuel Marquez for calling it out. About time Mike Tyson called something out. That's actual fact. Like, Maybe he hating on Canelo because Canelo robbing us in broad daylight. Like I said, this is an observation. I know Canelo is not white, but the world treat him like he is, and that's where the favor comes. I know he on the outside appears to be a proud Mexican, but you ain't pushing back on that white treatment that you're getting. Um, what he doing to me is he is padding. Somebody said this before, but I see it too. He's padding his record in such a way that no one could ever compare or compete with him. He doesn't like to hear the Joe Louis stories of the world, the Ray Robinson, the Sugar Ray Robinson stories of the world, the Ali stories of the world, and so forth and so on. He don't like to hear them. When you talk boxing and you have a nostalgic moment and you recall something from the past, you know, you're gonna have to bring Canelo's name up. That's what he want. The record that he's amassing, no one would catch. It's not even possible. It's not even possible to have a record where you jumping up and down in different weight classes, going to get titles here, there, and all that stuff. Somehow he's allowed to do it. They lay the groundwork so that he can do. He's never in the fight by himself. He always has help. But everybody else can't do that because they're gonna be like, pick one. Then they just tell Tank, you better pick one. Then they just tell him that. So if you're a smart person and the sanctioning bodies come at you like that, like, oh, hey, you better pick one. Suffice to say, you're not gonna be bouncing and bebopping around up and down in different weight classes because they just slam you down and say, hey, you better pick one. Canelo don't get that treatment at all. So that's why he padding the record. So let's revisit him really. Let's look at him really. So he had some close calls or judges caking for him. We know that. All we gotta do is go back to the Mayweather fight. That judge that had him 114, 114. Come on. I don't know how you watched that fight and think that it was a tie. I don't know how you see that. I don't know what fucking eyes that judge had. That judge was reprimanded. They had some consequences, but they out back in mainstream population judging again. They should be banned for life. Once you show your true colors, that you cannot be trusted, you cannot fuck with people's lives like this. Some of these kids or young guys, young men have been putting in work since they were 5 years old, 7, 8. They've sacrificed being just a child just for this dream, and then to get all the way up there and have some racist person who don't even know what it is to do hard work and have dedication, don't even know what it means to have honor and integrity, take it from you or attempt to take it from you. And that's just unfortunate, but he had some close calls. Lara fight, we think he won. We think Lara won, but they didn't give it to him. And I know Laura was disgusted. I'm not even a fan of Lara, and I'm telling you, he won that fight. That's just my opinion. I believe Triple G won that first fight. It's hard. It was a close fight, but I believe Triple G won. But of course, can't stop the Canelo train. That's what I mean by he had some close calls. So he ain't perfect after all. I talked about the 114, 114, Lara won, Triple G really winning. Now, he used his tactics to always have the leverage over his opponents, basically needing them to be drained or weak. Let me say that again. He uses tactics to always have leverage or the advantage over his opponents, hoping that they will be drained or weak when they get in the ring with him. How does he do it? This is how he does it. He asks for catch weights. Come on, Canelo. You could go from 200 to 147. Why do you need a catch weight? Explain the catch weight. What is the purpose of the catch weight? Stephen Houston in the building was popping king. He said, "What's good, Miss T?" What's the purpose of the catch weight if not to drain your opponent? It ain't to give them favor. You know, it's never on a higher side of the playing field. So, for instance, if you want to fight somebody who's a normal 154 pounder, you wouldn't say, "Catch weight, we'll do it at 156. If they normally been making 154 good, or whatever, or you would say, "Let's do it at 156 so I can make the motherfucking weight, so I don't be this drained." But the actual weight class is 154. It's always got to be a leverage to you. Some kind of way, somehow, it's a leverage to you. Stephen Houston said he fought Floyd at 170, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was roughly 20, 25 pounds heavier than Floyd, and it was to his detriment. But in his mind, he was better than Floyd because, he's Mexican and he's cinnamon, so right there alone, he's superior. But when I say he uses tactics to always have the leverage and advantage of over his opponents, he basically, making them weak and draining them, bleeding them dry, so to speak. So we talked about the catch weights. Then he has the rehydration clauses. Canelo, you a big boy. You bounce up and down on the weight. Been doing it for years. Why would you have, or why would you favor a rehydration clause? That's weird. Again, you come from 200 to 147, 154, 160, 168, 175. You every man at this point. So why have a rehydration clause? You like to come in and have his bitch, But so basically what you're saying is, if you fight somebody who's naturally big and kind of doing the weight bully shit like yourself, you don't want them to, even after the weigh-ins, to balloon up to a higher weight, because you can't contend with this person as it is. You need them drained. You need them to stay in the zone of perpetual, I'm trying to make weight. That's what it is. You got to stay right there in that perpetual state of I'm trying to make weight. That's what he's doing. And so right after your weigh-ins, you can't even go get a good steak dinner like most people want to do. You can't even have a good night of eating on that Friday and then, poop everything out Saturday. You can't do none of that. You have to perpetually go another day of being hungry, hurting, and then turn around and get in the fight feeling like that while he over there chilling. Just so he can drain and make you weak. That's what he do. The one question I had, number 3, did he face the best in his weight division ever? The easiest answer is no. He hasn't. He cannot say he has. That's an easy show. You have not faced the best. You don't want to face the best. You have made moves since 154 just to avoid the best. And then the only time you probably was trying to face the best is when you was 147. Now maybe that's when you was trying to do it. But ever since you left the 147 division, no. Why? Because you won't shit in the 147 division. Floyd whooped your ass, and that was the end of that. So you got the hell up out of Dodge, okay? You be waiting for Benavidez to lose his belt before you went after it. And you did. You waited till this man lost his belt. Now, David Benavidez, I will say this, it's going to sound crazy. You did that to yourself. And I know David has accepted that. I'm speaking to the choir on that one. But you opened that door. I mean, what do you think a scoundrel would do? This man has no scruples. He has no integrity. He don't even know what hard work dedication is. And I say that because you cheat. You always cheating. I don't care that you run 5-10 miles every day. I don't care if you put in 2 or 3 workout sessions every day. I don't care that you from the waist up is an excellent fighter. And that takes practice and drilling. That do take hard work and dedication. The fact that you got to cheat, you always gotta have some on your opponent. You just can't walk in there. Tell me when Joe Louis was like that. Tell me when Sugar Ray Robinson was like that. Tell me when Muhammad Ali was like that. And I can go on and on and on. But you are the great white hope for Mexico. You are the builder bear of Mexico boxing. Because you have to do all this extra stuff to make yourself be the man. It can't be, I work out, I train, and I get in the ring and I house niggas. Can't be that. You're always looking for an edge. But the greats, you never hear that about them. You cannot, in Mexico, y'all, Mauricio Suleiman, Mexico, whoever is complicit in this farcical bullshit, you cannot push this off on us. We are not buying it. We will never buy it. It will be people who will write historical biopics on some of the fighters that you so-called have fought. And you will find that, once somebody exposed who you really did, compete with, you will start looking silly. That's all y'all got to do. The remedy to that, start right now. Maybe that's something I could do. I don't know. Start doing an in-depth biopic on the fighters that you have fought, making it available to be bought. Whether it sells on the #1 bestseller list is irrelevant. Once the book is done, it's always out there. That's my point. So when they come try to write the history of Canelo, they got to contend with that. They have to contend with that. And what's done in the dark will always come to light, y'all. There's people who know that there's some fishy business going on in that Canelo camp, and damn sure with Mauricio Suleiman. But, they're not saying nothing right now. They will one day. And we live for that day. Won't ever fight them to even defend his belts. Has he fought any notable competitors? No. He won't ever fight them. Not even to defend the belt. Now, I will say, to be fair, some fighters become undisputed and they drop their belts. If Canelo do it, okay, whatever. But most of them went through war. Most of those guys went through hell and back just to even get the undisputed. They went through hell and back. They fought everybody. You can say Crawford ain't fight nobody. Yes, he did. You can say Josh Taylor ain't fight nobody. Yes, he did. Usyk fought who he needed to fight. Everybody you can mention in the last, 5 years, or the last 5 people outside of Canelo who has won undisputed, fought damn near everybody in their division. They left no stone unturned. Nobody's walking. Josh Taylor, when he walk out that division, they ain't gonna say, but what about Prograis? What about Ramirez? What about such? They're not gonna say that. You are the only undisputed champion that they would say that about. You the only one. Demetrius Bright said Canelo is just a cloud chaser, chasing Pacquiao, who was champion at 8 different weight divisions. This boxing sure is racist and downright sucks. Where is the justice, damn? I say that too. I'm calling for. I'm gonna do it by myself or with the help of everybody. But I'm calling for us to pick a date in December and collectively all call our congressmen that same day and have the same complaint. And I mean, have them phone lines lit the hell up, calling from all states in the country. Is that something we could do? Can we come together for that? That's like a protest, but it's not, out in the street, causing a ruckus. I'm telling y'all, we have a case. This man has a nonprofit and he's committing violations, breaking the rules as having a nonprofit. The worst case scenario, he can be arrested. Easy case scenario, they're yanking shit. WBC will cease to exist. But an answer has to come. Can we do that? Can we do that, y'all? Is that a hard thing? If we take 5 minutes out of our day and call our congressman, they're not going to let you talk to him. You just leave a message. The message is going to be sent loud and clear. That secretary that has to take message after message talking about him, it's going to be like, yo, we got to move on this. People going to talk during lunch, and they're going to be like, my congressman got a call about Mauricio Suleiman. Y'all know anything about this? And the other person can be like, that's weird because my congressman got several calls today about Mauricio Suleiman, and so forth and so on. Canelo donating $1 million is not going to make me take my eye off the ball. We see the fugazi shit you're doing. We see how you're moving in these streets. You donating $1 million don't mean shit. Whoopee. You could have did that shit in private. The nigga we love to hate, Floyd Mayweather, does stuff like that on the regular. Donates and all kinds of shit. Real talk. And he never brags about it, never say nothing. All you ever hear about with Floyd is his negative shit. Now, Floyd, you bring some of that shit on yourself. However, we never talk about the good shit that he do. But somehow or another, we know that Canelo donated $1 million. Why we know that? Because Canelo wanted you to know that. Because he trying to throw you a nugget, trying to throw you off track. No, we would not be deterred. You are ruining people's lives. You are denying them the pursuit of happiness, because this is the profession that they picked. They walked the line to have this profession. They did a lot, and y'all are blatant with the shit. We one thing if you can hide it, but you blatant with it. He always looking for a weak link. He really is. And this is under the question of, did he face the best in his division? And I said no. We said how he waited for Benavidez to lose the belt. Benavidez, that's more your fault than his. He won't ever fight anybody to defend his belt. And now I say he's always looking for the weak link, which I think Makabu is about. The weak link. He jumping through weight divisions, picking an easy one, but not picking others in that weight class. This is what they was trying to do with Tank. Y'all remember my stance on the Tank? Don't do that. Your legacy is fucked. You're not building nothing. Like, you can't go from weight class to weight class to weight class and think that that's a plus. Because if you go into the 147 and you fight Keith Thurman, and some people might think that you can beat Keith, but I think you can. To my Tank Davis. But if you went in and you fought Keith and you didn't fight Boots, I'm saying, straight up. That's how I feel about Canelo. I feel the same. I'm gonna get my Pink Panther on. What the fuck is really going on? What you really doing? I gotta get my Inspector Gadget on. You jumping from weight class to weight class. So you really not picking your right weight class. Who does that? And how are you doing that? Because we know from weight class to weight class, it matters. You're not gonna jump from weight class to weight class and carry all your speed, agility, and reflexes and power. You can't go up and down like that. It doesn't work. You are a human being. I know you think you're more than a human being, but you really, it's just a human being. Demetrius Wright said nothing will be done. Look at Tyson, who supposedly had C-19 seen unmasked in the car dealerships and bars. However, the ordinary person would be charged with a felony for the same offense. Facts. We can, though. We can. I'm telling y'all, they don't play with that nonprofit shit. Like, they don't give a fuck. Because what wind up happening is he not paying his correct taxes. I'm telling you, even with Trump, and they love Trump, and they was caking for him, you couldn't even impeach this nigga. Like, I mean, I take it back. How did they say it? He was impeached, but he couldn't indict him because that's what the Senate part is. And they caked for him in broad daylight, knowing he was wrong. But you know what they did do? They took his foundation. They did take his nonprofit. They took them shits. They don't play. They don't give a damn who you are. You could be the president sitting in the Oval Office. They will take your shit. They don't care. That's money. When they take it, they get all that money. Why wouldn't they take it? It goes in the coffers. Mm-hmm. Then you got people that pay you to look the other way. And, some people get caught up in that shit. Stephen Houston said he fights people coming out their worst performance. Indeed. And then Stephen Houston said DBN did a great video on Canelo Alvarez versus Floyd career-wise. Dante Boxing Nation. Okay, I had to think about the acronym. Demetrius Bright said the stuff Canelo is doing is super obvious. However, old media is silent. Yeah, I know I'll keep saying it, you guys. I hope that we all collectively pick a day, take 5 minutes out of our day, and call a congressman and report. Mauricio Suleiman, you're not gonna get Canelo. Canelo know these people caking for him. He welcomes it. He could, and he has. Let me tell y'all, he has plausible deniability. You ain't gonna him up. He ain't going to jail. Ain't nothing gonna happen to Canelo because he accepting gifts. I mean, it ain't against the law for him to turn the other cheek and act like he don't know shit. Meanwhile, we sitting over here like, you don't see this shit? D-Ray in the building. Salute King. He says salute Queen. T. Blessing. And he also said Demetrius Bright. Salute King. Blessings. Yeah. We're going to have to. That is something we could do this year. And that could be a good Christmas present. If it's possible, nothing could come from it. I've called on Mauricio many times. I don't know. But we could try that. I'm telling you, white people or people in government period are funny about their money. They ain't playing with that. There's so much that they could do and make a come up off of that shit. But either way, they don't play with that. That's how some of these politicians get in trouble because you got this file like a 501c. And it's a tax thing. Yeah, they just really don't play with that. And Mauricio Suleiman did itself a service by holding the headquarters in Mexico. But you can have it down there all you want. They can turn it around and yank that shit. You won't have a license to have it here. once the government can make the WBC belt null and void real easy. All they gotta do is pull that nonprofit just that quick, and they will do it just that quick when you're in violation of the rules, just that quick. So we can all collectively get together and make them aware, because thousands of people saying it beats one person. Number 4, picking fighters so far at the bottom of the barrel, we as fans don't even know they exist, and he does that all the time. He picked these fighters that we as a collective don't even know, won't check it for, never heard of. We got to damn near do a research paper to find out who his opponent is. But then when you hear somebody we do know, like Andrade, or Andre requests a fight with him, oh man, you motherfucker, you won't payday. You won't payday. Ain't that what the fuck you want? A payday? Isn't that the carrot you dangling over Makabu's head? A payday? Isn't that what Caleb Plant just got? That you had to have that belt? All both of y'all got a payday? But the people at the bottom of the barrel, I guess you're trying to say you don't pay them, or they work for pennies on the dollar. I don't know. Which one is it, Canelo? Rocky Fielding, Avni Yildirim, and now Makabu. Who is these people? Aren't they getting a payday? But we don't know. They at the bottom of the barrel. We don't know if they dive takers. Are they divers? Are they divers? We don't know. Do they work for Mauricio, aka Mr. Cantone? We don't know. But in the end, if everyone calls, like I said, call them out, maybe we can end this Canelo train. I mean, you have to call them out. That's everybody. You got to bring shame. That's one thing that work with Latinos. They don't like, their ego don't do well under the auspicious nature of bringing shame to the name. Like Alvarez has to go down in history as a name like mud. Story time. Y'all know where mud come from. Y'all hear me say this all the time, so I'm gonna say this real quick, and y'all probably already know the story. When John Wilkes Booth jumped off the whatever he did after shooting President Lincoln, and he said "sic semper tyrannius" or so whatever he said. I think it's on the Virginia flag now. Ain't that some shit? He quoted something in Latin. It's on somebody's flag. That's my state. You know what I'm saying? But when he jumped off that balcony onto the stage, he hurt his foot, and he knew the ins and outs of that theater or stage or whatever, because he was an actor. So he runs off. He jumps on his horse. He travels into Maryland, because all of that shit is relatively close. He travels to Maryland, which today's time will be on one side of the fence of Andrews Air Force Base. If y'all familiar with that, in Suitland, Maryland. But Suitland, Maryland, right up the street, DC. So he travels there, Andrews Air Force, like the side of that base. Walton, I believe, it's the area. I can't remember, but he goes down there. He rides hard. The pathway that he took is what we call 301 today. It's the old highway that used to go up and down from Maine to Miami. Now we got 95 north and south. But back in the day, it was 301. So he travels down 301. He traveling. The horse gotta get a break, because he's hightailing it. He gets all the way down to a doctor's house. Now the thing is, they saying that the doctor was in on it, but then the doctor had some kind of plausible deniability that never really got, to me, vetted out all the way, because there's always I don't know. but he definitely paid the consequence. So, the doctor's supposed to do no harm. They take the Hippocratic oath or whatever the name of that oath is, and they help you whether they like you or not, whether they hate you or not. They supposed to help you. So Dr. Mudd was his name. Hold on. Demetrius Bright says, salute to D-Ray, blessings, my brother. Stephen Houston said they don't care though. They thick ones protecting him. And then he said, my state too. You from the VOT. So so Dr. Mudd said, okay, y'all can go ahead and thank you for the cash app, Demetrius. He said, y'all can go ahead and, because I guess they had a little crew too. Y'all can stay up in my barn. And maybe he was a sympathizer. Mind y'all, the Lincoln and them just won. And so he's like, y'all can stay in my barn and I'll bring, food and all that. They'll come out and about. Because back then, that's how they hid you. They just stay in the, in the barn. Nobody gonna think that you in there. Don't come to the house. We'll bring some food, inconspicuously. We'll bring something out. And they did. But, you shot Lincoln. So them damn, I don't know what they call them today. Well, them officers in the military, them army officers was dead on your ass. So they catch up with them. I don't know what made them stop, because Booth and them had a head start on them. But I don't know what made them know to stop at Mudd's house. And I think they went in and asked Mudd, what's up? What you got? You know these motherfuckers? And Mudd probably played the fool like, I don't know what you talking about, dog. Me and my wife was just sitting up in here chilling. Y'all knocking on the door late at night. What the hell going on? But while they asking him, the boys is out there looking all through, unreasonable search and seizure going on like a motherfucker. So they out there just searching and shit. And of course they find him. And so that in lies the dilemma of, your name is Mudd. That for centuries. I see now that it's dying out, but I grew up under that. And so I remember if somebody said that your name is Mudd, that was a bad thing. That means you don't have no scruples, no integrity, no morals. You are not to be trusted. You are the scum of the earth. And that's what that means. So when y'all hear me say that about him, his name is Mudd. His credibility is shot. And everybody who is complicit and be with him at this point. I can't even give you your props, Canelo, for the shit that you do. I just can't. So that's what I mean by when I say your name is Mudd. But I do, like I said, I'm calling for that one day in December that we all call our congressman and make our complaints about Mauricio Suleiman not running a nonprofit the way it's supposed to. And let's see what our American government can do for us. And I'm not making no promises. They may do something, they may not. Justice always moves slow. So even if they're doing something, it may be a couple of years before we see that shit come to fruition. But that shouldn't stop us from doing it. The more the merrier. Canelo and his cojones or cronies or whatever, they are making up history as they go. And I ask the question, is that Mexican history? Is that how Mexican history get down? Like, now I have to question all the Mexican history told from their point of view. The Alamo, whatever. If it's told from their point of view, I got to question it. Because y'all sitting here watching this blatant shit and y'all ain't saying nothing. And y'all know, and he telling you, he not saying it's for me, for me, for me. He said it's for Mexico. It's for our history. That's what he said. And y'all letting it be y'all history. So I question all y'all history. I question all of it. Even Mayweather feels, and Mayweather haven't said much about Canelo. Even he feels that you can't really say Canelo the best. Mayweather is y'all can say what y'all want. That dude is very clever how he put his words together. because somebody was asking him point blank, hey, you think he the face of boxing or whatever? He the toughest, whatever. And Mayweather could have said, I don't think so, but he didn't say, I don't think so. He said, I still think Canelo need to be tested, and I think David Benavidez will be a good test for him. He didn't rebut or push back with the narrative, what they trying to have the narrative to be, but he kind of did it in a slick way. I think it's very clever on his part, but he pushing back. So then we gonna move into this part, the WBC, because they was meeting from the 14th to the 19th. So Friday is the last day of them meeting, and they having a panel, I guess a board meeting, everything to discuss things going forward with the WBC. And this is why this shit is breaking, that Canelo trying to drop the belts, and Mauricio, Mr. Cantone himself, is on board with all this shit. This is why somebody in Demetrius Benavidez, and not Demetrius Benavidez, I'm sorry, I'm mixing names. This is why David Benavidez, somebody in his camp, was saying after the fight, if y'all heard, especially in the post press conference, we going straight to Mexico City because we gonna petition. They want to get the fight secured with Canelo. So what the WBC has approved, they approved Benavidez to fight for an interim belt in the 168 division, which I'd be like, didn't they get rid of that? But that was WBA. So they are proving that he can fight in the interim. So him and somebody else can fight for the number one seed. That still ain't saying shit. Canelo gonna drop them belts. Now what you fighting for? So whoever's the win, and this is crazy, and it'll suck like hell. Whoever wins this interim, let's say Benavidez and whomever, 9 times out of 10, Benavidez gonna win. So if he wins, Canelo drops the belt. Guess who become the WBC champion in the 168 division? Then we go through this with this email shit. This we just giving it to you. Why would we want that? I don't even think David Benavidez would want that. But that's what's gonna happen. Mark my words. That's what's gonna happen. David Benavidez should have been adamant and did not give Canelo no respect. But he did. And I would tell all them fighters, stop kissing his ass. Stop doing that. You are hurting yourself in the long run, and y'all hurting boxing in the long run. So the WBC know what they doing. Canelo is never going to have to go through anything hard. Peep game. How convenient this is. Now the Canelo is going to drop his belt. How convenient. So he can fight David Lemieux, Daniel Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders, Anthony Durrell, Jesse Hart, Vladimir Shishkin, Pavel Salagin, Gabriel Rosado, Fedor Chudinov. Don't know some of these people. Gabriel, yes. We know Billy Joe, Anthony Durrell, I think David Lemieux, and Daniel Jacobs. That's how we know. Canelo couldn't fight none of these dudes. This is the list that they made up for David Benavidez. You mean to tell me Canelo couldn't fight none of these dudes? Well, you damn right, because we gonna be like, how you pick Anthony Durrell and you can't fight the guy to beat him? That's what we gonna say. I understand if he don't want to do a repeat of Danny Jacobs, but if Jacobs is ranked high, how you avoiding that? They quickly came up with a list for David Benavidez, but we don't got a list for Canelo. The narrative was out there. There's nobody else for him to fight. You just came up with a list. How is that possible? Like I said, Benavidez need to start treating Canelo with no respect. All fighters need to do it. A second thing they could do is stop going for the WBC. Get out the ranking. Who the fuck cares? Move around. I'm telling y'all, if y'all move around and stop worrying about the WBC, they're gonna be pressed for y'all. It ain't gonna be cool because when you hold that belt, it's assumed, especially for casuals, that hey, you could beat all these people. These white folks that box, these black folks that box. Y'all know they thinking it. Or these Mexicans that can box. But these Mexicans under the umbrella of Mauricio Suleiman, they ain't gotta worry about losing no belt to nothing. They ain't gotta worry about going through the fire. They ain't gotta worry about going through nothing. Cause they not in the fight by themselves. He's caking for them. People gotta get to a point where they say F is money. If you are the goods and you can offer competition, chances are you not gonna fight Canelo. That is real talk right there. If you are the goods, in any kind of way, and you could get some competition to Canelo, you're not gonna get the fight anyway. So why are you respecting him? Why are you caking for him? That's my question to the Charlos or anybody else that like to treat him with kid gloves. Why you doing it? You ain't never gonna get a fight with him. David Benavidez, he don't want to fight you. You too young and strong, and he's scared to fight you. You too much of a risk. But here's the thing, David. Every fighter got flaws. David keep losing. David love you to death. I'm a fan, but you unreliable. You won't make weight every time. You'll have a problem. The reasons you lost both the belts, like you lost the same belt, but I think you lost them twice, is your own doing. So one could say he's unreliable. But I feel you, David. You want the chance and opportunity to get all the belts. Now he gonna throw them to the winds, and you may never ever get a chance. You may be 30 years old for the chance roll back around. These guys are playing with you, but y'all treat Canelo with kid gloves, but he doesn't return the favor. He doesn't respect y'all. Then he tried to, he has a good PR person. I'll give him that. You donating $1 million don't mean nothing to me, but I will say that's a good gesture, and that's a good thing that you did on your part. But it don't mean shit. That shiny object, you threw it over there. I looked, and then I turned right back around and looked at you. That's how that went down. So moving on, I'm gonna move on from him. He's a person that you just can't keep. It's too many shocking things happening on a regular. I mean, we'll be here all day. Thomas Delorme sends a letter to the INSAC disputing his conclusion of his fight with Bruce Ennis. I was like, what? Why is he mad? I thought it was a fair fight or whatever. He's been showing a picture of his hematoma injury on the back of his head, which I saw the injury. It looks real. And he said he got it due to a rabbit punch. Okay. That happens in a fight. And listen, I don't dislike Thomas Delorme. Not a fan, but I don't dislike him. Rabbit punches do happen, and I don't like them when they throw them. So, I was reading this and thinking, like, do he really got a case? What's going on? He submitted his complaints to the Nevada State Athletic Commission for rabbit punch. The rabbit punches are not legal. They're not legal blows. We all know that. We know what that could do. You could seriously hurt somebody, and no fighter should be into doing it. Some fighters do it on purpose to weaken and drain their opponent, but you shouldn't do it. So he wants them to overturn the knockout loss to a no decision. Why? Why mess up Boots' record or put a smear on it? The boxing section is in the building. What's up, Kyle? Salute to my dogs in the chat. What's up, Kyle? So he has a legit injury. I'm looking at it how we looked at the Wilder fight. The Wilder had an injury. Um, and he wants them to overturn his loss. You was gonna lose anyway. As I look at that fight, you really couldn't hang with Boots. Now, did if Boots accident? Because I don't think it was a blatant rabbit punch. I think Boots was punching and you were moving, and he probably like skimmed the back of your neck. But if he did that shit off a skim, ooh, y'all fighters better get ready for some boots. I don't think you want it. I don't think you want it with Lean. What he mainly saying is that he not even blaming Boots. He's saying ref judged in error because the ref came and gave him the spiel of, hey, look, I ain't taking this. I ain't taking it. You know how the ref talked to them in the back. We ain't gonna have no rapid punches, and if you do, I'm gonna hold you accountable. He said that the lawman is saying that he explained it to him. He explained that to Boots. He explained it to both of them, and they all agreed. So when it happened in the ring, and the ref did not hold, true to what he said he would do, the lawman saying he got a problem. And apparently, I guess if you get hit in the back of the head, you get some time to regroup and get yourself together, which he was not afforded because the referee didn't call it. So I don't know. I don't know what y'all think about that. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna stay here and say I'm not gonna be totally against it. If they could go back and look at the film and look and see that the ref should have been able to catch it, I'm actually gonna go back and look at the fight. But if the ref should have been able to catch it and the ref just disregarded and he put on a dog and pony show about how he not dealing with no goddamn rabbit punches and that he was going to hold you accountable. If Thomas Delorme is asking that, why didn't I get my 5 minutes to regroup? That's fair, I guess. It's fair. I don't know how you fix it. I wouldn't go so far as to say we're going to overturn the decision, because for us to do that, I'm a part of it. let me re-say that. For them to do that, I would think they have to also ascertain whether or not Thomas Delorme would have did any better had he had that opportunity. I don't think he would have. I think Boost still would have knocked his ass out, regardless of that hit or not. So it's a tricky one for him. I'm not mad at him. I'm just believing like, hey, he got a point. You ain't gonna come back here and dog and ponytail me to death, talking about what you a dude and what you having and what you not. All of us agree, and then you go right out there and do the opposite. No, I need my 5 minutes. If I was old 5 minutes, I want all of that. Run me every minute. So I don't know, but I still say that even if the ref gave him the 5 minutes, you still wasn't gonna win, dude. You wasn't gonna win. But I wish you luck, Delorme. And I hope you lay low with that story until you just find out what the conclusion is, because to talk about it a lot is gonna make you look silly, I believe. So in other news too, moving on, Keyshawn Davis and Richard Torres, as well as Keyshawn's brother Kelvin Davis, they all signed with Top Rank. Boy, Bob know how to swoop in on them young guys, don't he? They all signed with Top Rank. We know how Top Rank get down. We know how he feel about black people. But sometimes I'm looking at it like these are young boys. They don't have a chance. Maybe they feel they don't have chances or opportunities enough to get fights that they want, to make the money that they want. They don't have representation. Maybe they need, like the little startup money, all the little costs. Maybe they need help. I don't know, but they better be careful. They better be careful. The part that I didn't like about this article, it said they signed long-term deals. Long term. So they stuck for the duration. Now y'all know if I've been hearing about this Keyshawn Davis. Maybe his brother is the truth as well, and then the other guys that he signed, that Bob signed. If Keyshawn is the truth, everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do in his professional career, and he decided with Top Rank. Top Rank will probably let him get a WBO belt, something. But Top Rank is also gonna put him on the back burner, and as to not upset the balance of things, because Top Rank, if he got some white guys on his team or some Mexican on his team that can do really well or just as good as Keyshawn, or fighting his weight class or maybe a class up or down, y'all know Bob gonna pour his money. Y'all know where he gonna pour his money. By signing Keyshawn, he ain't got to worry about Keyshawn going against any of his fighters taking the belt up off them. And Keyshawn and them, I hope they know that. We know how Bob gets. You know. These boys is out of Virginia. I was happy to hear that. I didn't know they out of the bot in Sweet Pea country. They're gonna be fighting actually. Bob got them a fight pretty soon. They're gonna be on that December 11th card, the Loma card. They're gonna be on that card. Keyshawn and his brother. And it seemed like, Bob picked up the whole team. Another fighter. Guess who else is gonna be on there? Ali's grandson again. Let's see if he take another step up. Bob seemed like in the beginning he do right by them, but he always have an agenda, and they better have one too. They better watch, what they doing and this, that, and the other, and see what happens. Demetrius Bright said he deserves his due process. Who you talking about, Delorme? Yeah. That's why I say I'm not all the way mad. I mean, if he said he was owed 5 minutes and he believed in himself and he believes that 5 minutes would have got him together, because he did say he was dizzy from that shot, then they should have gave it to him. But or they can run it back. I'm sure Boots don't mind. Hey, I'll run it back. Jump in the ring and just be careful. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna take the knockout down, I mean, to me, I wouldn't want you to say no decision. I want you to stricken that shit or scrub it from my record as if it never ever happened. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the ref can mess it up for everybody. That third fight with Wilder and Tyson, that was all the ref. I mean, Tyson was doing some stuff too. I couldn't see it. I didn't catch it. I didn't even complain about it, but that was the ref. That was the ref that made me lose my 300, because it don't take 15 seconds to count to 10. It just doesn't do it. Tyson took 15 seconds to get up. I lost $300. I want my money back. They ain't gonna change that shit. Chances of them doing that for Delorme is gonna be slim to none. And again, I will say the main reason would be they will probably look at it like you wasn't gonna beat his ass anyway. They're not gonna re-dip into a pocket and pull no money out for them. So I don't even know what has to happen. But you're right, he deserved his due process. Because all of us, if we was doing it, I need fairness across the board. Period. But Lorme, I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how to take it. It's your career. but you more than likely was not going to win anyway. And y'all can fight 100 times. You was not going to beat Boo Simmons. Hell, as much as I love Terrence Crawford, I be saying that shit might be a 50-50 right there. And yeah, you couldn't even do nothing with Terrence Crawford. So, I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe it compensate. Y'all can compensate this man. You know, maybe they gotta have some kind of way that you can start suing refs. Cause sometimes refs here lately seem like they on the take. And you don't want it to be like that, but shit, they seem like they on the take. So and they messing people careers up. Again, you have to give credence to these people who've been doing this shit since they was 5 and 8. Do you know what a 5 and 8-year-old can't do because they come into the damn gym? I work with kids all the time, and I'm telling you, there are times when they be like, "I don't want to box." They tell their daddy, "I don't want to box," and their dad be like, "But you actually good at it." They 9 and 10, yeah. They want to play their Xbox. They want to play their PlayStation. They want to play maybe football, baseball. They want to hang out with their friends. They giving up a lot only to reach somewhat the pinnacle as it's within grasp. And then here you got dirty refs and you got dirty judges. It's almost like they should be strung up by you. Mm-hmm. Uh-uh. They should be. It's a travesty. It's miscarriage of justice, and it shouldn't be allowed. But this was I heard about Canelo doing what I thought he was gonna do and drop them belts and move on. I knew it was gonna happen, and I'm disgusted. So that's all I had to say about it today. I knew it was gonna be like I won't go be on here too long, but I just all I can do is shake my hand. You guys really, really consider or think about all of us as a collective just banding together on one day for 5 minutes, calling the our congressman, because you can do it, and leaving a message about the WBC, carrying their business as a profit instead of a non-profit, violating rules. We should get a standard narrative that's written that we all could read off to the person who answered the phone. And we could all be pleasantly surprised when they yank the WBC belt. It's worth a try, y'all. It's worth a try. We should actually try that. It's worth a try. Because otherwise, he's going to keep doing what he do. The WBC belt has no value. It's for Canelo, and it's a Mexican belt. Secondary. Any black person who's holding it, I ain't gonna say you didn't earn it, because you might earn it in the ring, but you pretty much a token. It's starting to be like pretty much has no value. And Mauricio Suleiman, he doesn't care, because his business headquarters is in Mexico. But when you cross state lines and you use that shit as a business, you have fucked up. We was talking about the Rittenhouse case. The fact that he had the gun and he crossed state lines. Hey, you breaking into commerce laws at this point. And the United States government don't play around with that. So I think it's worth an effort to do it. I don't know about y'all. I ain't got to spearhead it. I don't care about no recognition or nothing. It could be somebody else. If that's the hesitation, I could be like one of many. You know what I'm saying? Just we can come up with a basic narrative and make sure we hit everybody up. I'm telling you, it'd probably be a welcome relief to these congressmen. They be like, it'll probably be a breath of fresh air, because it's something they all can get behind. You got a Mexican committing fraud, waste, and abuse in the States, and he's denying Americans, I don't care what color you are, the pursuit of happiness, that's discrimination. And you violating the nonprofit orders and laws, and you cheating, and you getting away with tax fraud. It's a lot right there, right? So y'all, let's get that together. We got like a couple of weeks before December. Let's band together and say that. And if Mauricio don't want nobody to do that, then you need to come clean. Like, stop caking for Mexicans, period. Especially Canelo. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Canelo is going to take what they give him. So we almost can't be surprised or upset at Canelo. He's going to take what they give him. Because it feels good. It feels good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It feels good to him. Why would he stop? Canelo is also in a unique position that he can have plausible deniability, which means it ain't much accountability he's going to face. But Mauricio, you don't have such luck. But anywho, when you know better, you do better, right? When you know better, you do better. So, okay, hopefully we get some better news tomorrow about some stuff. It's starting to look like that David Benavidez is going to be the paper champion, or how to tell them call it email champion, because he gonna fight for the number one position to challenge Canelo, but it ain't gonna be nobody to challenge he gonna get the number one spot, and when Canelo dropped the belts, they will award him the belt. And then he gonna have another fight. He probably gonna come in heavy, and somebody else gonna swoop in. I mean, this is what I'm seeing. But anywho, when you know better, you do better. So, peace. I'll see y'all tomorrow.